Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, they're prepping us for the movie.
Right. So you have to think like, I don't listen to the radio much anymore, and MTV doesn't play music videos, but like radio DJs for 2 months are playing this hit song Eye of the Tiger by Survivor, telling you it's from the upcoming Rocky 3. So it's got like 3 fucking months of promotion on this huge hit song that gets nominated for an Oscar. And Rocky 3 becomes the 4th highest grossing movie of the year.
I can tell you when it's time, when my kids are old enough to watch the Rocky films, I'm going to watch Rocky 1 with them and then skip right to Balboa. Nothing in between.
Really?
Wow.
Yep.
Dude, 4 is so much fun. You got to
It's
tell them all
so
about the Cold
dumb.
War, though.
It's not going to have any context for them.
It's so fun. God damn it. I want to see that new cut they released of Rocky 4. Man. Again, there's not enough time. There's not enough time to watch all these movies. These movies are so incredible. We are just in May, so
I want to pause our listeners for a moment. Imagine, it's May 31st, 1982.
Mm-hmm.
You're 18-year-old. You got a car. You're not necessarily looking in the paper. You just drive to the movie theater because you're hanging out. 18, tons of free time, and all of those films are available. You can just pick any one of them and be just blown away.
You probably have multiple theaters in your area because they're not all closing down to make room for one 30-screen megaplex. So again, some of these movies are playing for like a year, up to a year. And then we get to the movies of June, and the movies of June are they're here because, ladies and gentlemen, we got the Tobe Hooper follow-up to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, Tobe Hooper's in quotes.
We can talk about it.
Poltergeist. It knows what scares you.
Wonderful.
Clowns. Those fucking clown, man.
Yeah.
That scares me.
So when I was in my huge George Lucas phase, I got a couple of books on industrial light and magic. And this is one of the films they talk about. If you recall, at the end of this movie, the house implodes upon itself.
Yeah.
And that still looks utterly amazing today. I encourage you to look up that effect on YouTube and think about how they did it. I know how they did it, but do either of you know how they did it?
No.
They had to create 2 things that had never been invented before. They had to invent a vacuum sucker that could suck quicker and harder than any vacuum had ever sucked before in all of time. They built a picture perfect model of a house and put that vacuum underneath it. Then they had to build a camera that could record faster than any camera had ever recorded before. And then they filmed the model being sucked down into the vacuum cleaner with a super high-speed camera and then played that film back at normal speed so that you see the house slowly collapse. And that's how you had to get stuff done in the days before CGI.
When movie making didn't require a mouse. But Poltergeist is an interesting film for a lot of reasons, being that it's Steven Spielberg kind of continuing to get away with murder after a Temple of Doom and Gremlins kind of creating the PG-13. This is a scary fucking film, but is not R-rated. It is a for the family haunted ghost story that is genuinely fucking scary. Like, I wouldn't recommend it for kids.
Yeah, it's weird because we have another Spielberg movie coming up a week later. I mean, he produced this. There's arguments about how much of it he shot because he was getting in fights with Tobe Hooper. At least, the hands that are pulling skin off of someone's face, that's Spielberg.
This is the summer that Steven Spielberg gives you both all your childhood hopes and all your childhood fears.
Yeah. Within a week.
Yeah.
Within a week. But they're also 2 arguably horror movies about the suburbs. That's my favorite thing about Poltergeist is it's about living in cookie cutter suburbs, but what's underneath? They didn't move the bodies. They moved the headstones, but they didn't move the bodies.
Indian burial. I've watched The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror more than I've watched Poltergeist, and that's totally what that's based on.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then just adding in the idea like, oh, it's a cursed film, and if it is cursed, it's because there's a scene where Joe Beth Williams is in the swimming pool and it's full of skeletons. They're real.
Yeah.
I don't know how or why they used real skeletons, but that's
But they
kind
look
of
real is the thing.
But that's like the
They
point of the movie is to not bother dead people. God.
Man, you make
They got the shot, Diana. They got the shot.
They got the shot, but they all got cursed. No, they didn't.
Why did they say it's because the lead actress died pretty tragically? but-
No, it's
the
super sad.
teenage daughter Dominique Dunn was killed by her boyfriend.
right.
The little girl, she died very young from it was like an abdominal problem that was undiagnosed.
She's in the third movie that comes out posthumously.
Yeah.
The third Poltergeist.
Yeah.
So
Besides that, I don't know what it is, but
Craig T. Nelson
Craig
had to
T.
be
Nelson's-
on Coach.
yeah, he seems to be doing okay.
Yeah, this was talked about as in lighter times, back when we thought we saw a ghost in a 3 Minute a Baby.
Yeah, but as a haunted house movie, just your basic everyday haunted house stuff. It's kind of this versus Amityville Horror is like which is the better one, and I like this one a lot more.
It's difficult for me. I wasn't really around to pinpoint the rise of Spielberg, but he's coming off of Raiders and Close Encounters.
Yep.
And he's also very young and enthusiastic, so he's shepherding a ton, like too many projects. This is also like the period where he's making Gremlins and Back to the Futures too, and he is Universal's like, dude, focus. By his contract, he is not allowed to direct anything until he's done with the movie that releases next week. But as legend goes, he was so jazzed about fucking Poltergeist, he would still show up at the set every day and start calling shots. And I think we have it's an urban myth, but there's a lot of truth to it that Steven Spielberg secretly directed Poltergeist, right, Diana?
Right.
As much reading as I've done about it, it really looks like he would just show up on set and just kind of start directing. He was Tobe Hooper's boss, and they did butt heads over it, but like they built the movie together. Tobe Hooper directed more than Spielberg did, but he really would come on set and just kind of take over, but not in a I know what I'm doing. Let me do this. Like, oh, dude, let me try this. Let me try this. Like, he was such an enthusiast. I just love thinking of Spielberg like that, making this. Oh, this would really scare the literal piss out of children. Let me try this. Yeah, but like it sucks that Tobe Hooper is no longer with us to put that argument to rest. But I would just want to go out there and say Spielberg did not secretly direct Poltergeist.
No, not the whole
Nope.
thing.
He just interfered a lot.
Yes.
In positive ways. Poltergeist is out on the same day. We get a franchise-saving sequel.
Universe lies the beginning of vengeance. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Oh man, Star Trek II: Wrath of Khan, baby.
If this had bombed, we would not have Next Generation. We would not have Deep Space Nine.
Nope.
We would not have any more Star Trek films.
Lower Decks, whatever the fuck is going on in Paramount Plus.
This film is the only reason we have Star Trek today. We might have gotten a reboot sometime in the 2000s when they rebooted Battlestar Galactica or stuff like that. But this film was the rebirth of Star Trek. You know, it was a joke. You watch Saturday Night Live and they are mocking Star Trek all the time because it's on reruns, but you know, things pass out of reruns.
It's like not unlike the Muppets, a show that nobody liked on, was it NBC, like primetime television